Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 147 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to be used as a way of making a foundation to build towards something new when it comes to Star Wars lore by JJ, Chris, and George, that's really going to take fans by surprise and introduce and demonstrate certain pieces of Star Wars lore that we have never seen before on the big screen. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that a description of one of the sequences, based in the third act of the film, where it's described that while both Kylo Ren and Rey are facing each other in the middle of a lightsaber duel, it's described that the environment around them begins to shift, and as they begin to fight through a series of flash fights, it's described that Rey is being guided by a strange voice that is said to be the voice of Sidious himself, where Rey is starting to tap into the dark side of the Force after Kylo delivers a certain truth about her parentage. It's described that Palpatine is telling Rey to kill him, and that Rey recognizes this voice as being very similar to what she heard during her time on Starkiller Base. It's explained that at one point in time, Kylo begins to hear the Force Ghost voice of Luke Skywalker, since he is beginning to shift to the light side temporarily. It's described to be a moment where both Rey and Kylo flip their sides to add a new dynamic for these characters. Luke's voice is said to actually be guiding Kylo Ren during the fight, and even initiates a vision of Han Solo standing in the background as Kylo fights Rey, which leads to a scene where Kylo backs off from the fight against Rey. However, it's said that Rey doesn't allow Kylo to back off where they continue their fight. It's said that Palpatine's presence sensed by Rey is Palpatine's plan, is to cause Rey to make Kylo shift back to the dark again by fighting him, which is said to eventually be successful until he finally appears. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because we do know that Episode 9 is going to be full of very unexpected sequences that we are not going to see coming in this film by JJ. And this in particular really does top the list here, where both Rey and Kylo Ren flip their sides temporarily, where Rey is more geared toward the dark and Kylo is more geared toward the light. And because of this, she's beginning to hear the voices of Emperor Palpatine, and Kylo is beginning to hear the Force Ghost voice of Luke Skywalker guiding him through this fight. So, the thing that really gets me, and what really seems very heartwarming, is there's a moment where Kylo is actually said to hear Luke's Force Ghost voice that actually comes to a point where Luke initiates a vision of Han Solo standing in the background, which causes Kylo Ren to back off from the fight against Rey. So Kylo Ren actually backs down from the fight in respect to Rey, and of course in respect to himself as well. However, this is said to be unsuccessful during this time, where Rey is actually said to still pursue the fight against Kylo Ren to defeat him, where she's actually more toward the dark side of the Force, being guided by the voice of Emperor Palpatine himself. Now, this is very much fitted to what we actually saw in The Force Awakens and what we read in The Force Awakens novelization. In the novelization, Rey actually heard a voice telling her to kill him, to kill Kylo Ren. And now we can see that that voice all along was indeed Darth Sidious / Palpatine himself all along. Now, what I like about this is that this really is JJ's way of tying everything into what was already done in The Force Awakens, and how it's really going to make The Force Awakens, I guess you could say, a movie that goes more in depth, if you will, since The Rise of Skywalker is going to answer a lot of questions and is going to be adding more Star Wars lore into the mix. So this scenario, we have technically both Luke and Palpatine, guiding both of these light side and dark side users against each other during this major battle. And this, of course, is the moment in which Harrison Ford shot some scenes a couple of months ago where he appears in the form of a vision during the fight between both Rey and Kylo Ren. It's going to be a very interesting moment for sure, because we do get a scene that involves the voices of Luke and Palpatine and the visuals of Rey and Kylo Ren fighting each other on opposite sides here now, where we do in fact have the vision of Han Solo in the background that actually causes Kylo Ren to stop the duel, at least temporarily, where Rey actually doesn't let him stop. So this is a very interesting moment, because This is going to be for the very first time. We do get to see a light side user and a dark side user flipping their sides completely against each other. And I think that's going to be a very interesting and cool dynamic by J.J. Abrams and George Lucas and everybody else involved with this movie and what they actually plan to do with Episode 9. So with that being said, it's pretty safe to say that since this all takes place on the wreckage in the middle of the ocean, that this most likely is indeed the wreckage of the Death Star 2 that we saw at the very end of the teaser trailer that debuted at Celebration just 3 months ago. Anyways guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.